Welcome to Out and About with me, the Gabbie Cabbie, on SRB Radio at the Hare and Hounds in Kingsheath, Birmingham, with Hannah Brown. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well. I mean, this is the home of UB40, or where UB40 first played in Birmingham.
That's great.
Now, Birmingham isn't your home, but Nottingham is. So, tell me about your background.
Yeah, so my parents are from the north and the south, but they found themselves in Nottingham, and yeah, so it's a really wonderful city, but I very much felt that there was a little bit more for me. So yeah, when I turned 19, and then I moved to Birmingham, and I've been here since.
Now, what made you move to Birmingham? Was it your education, university, etc., or did you get a job?
So it was university, yeah. But then you build a life, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's what's kept me here.
And what did you study while you was at university?
As cliche as it is, popular music.
Okay. Now, did that matter for you as a popular music artist? Did you find that education has been very beneficial for you, or like lots of other artists, they get into the business through other avenues?
It definitely, it polished my knowledge, which was so important, and it kind of put me into situations that I would never thought that I would kind of experience. So, having the opportunity to have like a tutor and almost a mentor, which is, incredible, and I got so much knowledge and so many great advice from my tutors. But yeah, I think more than anything it was the chance to network, and it was the kind of extracurricular bits that you get from university life, so meeting new people and having opportunities open up to you, so that was really, really beneficial.
Now, had you picked up a guitar previously, or was it at university where you started using the guitar, using musical instruments, and then started honing your craft by writing songs? Had you already started that process?
Yeah, so okay. I did a lot. It was that, in your bedroom type situ. So, and I'd done a few bits at school, but not a huge amount. I never studied music at school. It was one of those that I just never thought that I would actually go into until really it wasn't until I was about 17. So I tried to write, I think, when I was 16, and I just was like, no, I'm terrible. This is such a bad idea. But I just so wanted to do it, so I think it was my passion that really drove me into taking it more seriously. So, yeah, I'd laid a good foundation for myself musically, and it wasn't really until university that I was then able to use it to then try and cultivate a career, I suppose. And
also cultivate your passion and your skills.
Yes, absolutely.
What was the first song that you wrote? What was it about? Can you remember?
Oh gosh. It was probably a Christian song. I grew up playing it in the band at church, so yeah, it was probably a Christian song.
So this is what I love when you press the flesh with people. You get to know them as a person, and that's why I love doing these out and about, although I haven't done one for 2 years. This is the first one for ages, and I have missed it, because there's nothing like getting to know someone, talking to someone, looking in their eyes, having a conversation over a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with a bit of honey and a soul with a little bit of lime and water. Because you get to know certain things that you can't get to know them through social networking and sites like that, which are integral and are very important. But there's, again, with records, your songs that's on records, there's nothing like going out and watching someone performing those live, is there?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so you've had the journey from Nottingham. You've started honing that craft that you learnt in your bedroom as a little girl in Nottingham. Who were your influences and inspirations growing up? What music was you into?
So what I can remember, I think one of the biggest songs that I remember really affecting me was Aerosmith. And my memory's terrible, but it was... I think it ended up being a soundtrack for a film. Was it Apollo 13?
Yeah.
But it was that song, and it was the emotion in the song that
Should
really...
sing it? Close my eyes. It's like that one.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. And like Michael Jackson, Earth Song, and just real strong emotional songs that really just caused something in me, and it was like, okay, this is going to be why I do music. And I think that's also been quite an important thing, growing up and trying to figure out, what is this all about? What is life all about? And what is having these kind of loves and passions all about? And, for me to have been able to get that at such a young age, I think was really important.
Now, my younger lad, Jack, is into Michael Jackson, and that Earth song really does ask them questions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm 54 in a few weeks' time. I still don't know what the answer is, and I'm sure that even when you're ready to pass through this life, you still will have more questions than answers. So, like, again, it's all about exploring us as people, the world that we live in around us, and just writing and trying to tune into those things. It's almost like a radio where you turn in the dial and you're finding different radio stations, isn't it? That's what life's all about, and it's a journey. A little bit like a train, getting on that train journey at different times and getting off at different stations. And you write about things like that. Relationship, love's a great thing to write about. Good love and bad love. Although I do think that bad love probably gives you the better songs.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think it's a funny place to be in when you are in a bad place.
Yeah.
And I would be really intrigued if there's any science behind why, or any psychology behind why it's easier to be able to express yourself when you're sad, as opposed to being happy, because you would think that it would be the other way around, or you would hope that maybe it would. But maybe the human condition might be more prone to negative thoughts and that kind of thing, kind of pessimism, I suppose, and especially when it comes to love.
I think in our human psyche it is about pessimism. We often look at things of how's it going to go wrong rather than how's it going to go right. When we see some bad news, because it is the bad news that's printed in the newspapers rather than the good news, because the good news doesn't sell. So when you're happy, you haven't got nothing to moan about. So pretty much when we write things, we're writing from a situation of we're not happy about something. And I do think that those juices flow better when we're in an annoyed condition. If you look at like the blues music, where music all started from, it's all about, I don't know, your dog dying or something like that that's gone wrong, isn't it? Rather than a happy, clappy song.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting. But then bring it back to the whole love thing, and actually you can be in a very loving, good relationship, but it be hard and it be difficult, and just as the human condition is. And I think that's where you've also got to, I guess it's that age old, you can't have the good without the bad, because you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. And I think it's so important to keep that in mind.
So your first attempt at releasing a single, what was that like? How scary was it? And your first gig, how did you feel when you got up on the stage promoting that?
It's always been terrifying. I think as much as I really love it, and I think I'm ignorant to the nervousness and the dread that can often come with, putting yourself out there. I ignore it, and then I remember, this is how it feels, this is what it's like, and it's like, it's quite a strange thing to do for me, because I would say that I'm not someone that naturally puts themselves in the limelight, but which is kind of a contradiction, because I'm the one putting on headline shows or things like that. But yeah, it's always been brilliant, and it's gotten easier, of course, as the years have gone by. And now, playing with a band tonight, it's nice to kind of share the load and to have other people there with me, which has been a really lovely experience.
Let's talk about your band. How many members have you got in your band now?
So 4, including me.
Which are?
Sarah Attenborough on drums. We've got Sam Riley on lead guitar and Claire Humphreys on rhythm guitar.
And how difficult is it getting that band together and getting the right balance?
It kind of happened rather naturally. So me and Claire had been playing for a while before anyway, so we had gotten used to playing and we had gotten the sound that we were happy with. And then I just one day thought, and Sarah and Sam, they've played together for quite a few years as well, so it kind of made sense to merge the two. I've known Sarah since I was about 7 years old, so I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. And we did try when we were younger, but
with the hairbrushes in the bedroom.
There, absolutely. So now to bring it into a more professional environment, it's worked really well, and because we've known each other for a while, it's been really comfortable, it's been really easy, so it's been really good.
And you're in the middle of a tour.
Yes.
How's that been received, and what cities, towns, villages are you going to be visiting?
So I spent a couple of dates in London, which has been fantastic.
What venues?
So the first one was the Green Note, and then the second one was a house gig. So it was someone's house in the middle of London, which
they're
was
really popular, aren't they? House gigs.
They are, yeah. They're really great for artists, I think, like me, who are used to that kind of an intimate kind of background.
Yeah. And then you're in, obviously, Birmingham now.
Yes.
What other destinations are you travelling to?
So I'll be going back to London again, more than likely. It's still in the middle of booking the gigs, but I'm trying to get as many in before the new year. But of course, I've got to go back to Nottingham.
Yes.
So that's going to be next month.
And how do you find London? Because before I started doing this, you think, like, why does everybody go to London? But London is a different beast, isn't it, compared to the rest of the country?
It is, and I think I always thought in my mind, well, that's where everyone goes, so, will you just get swallowed up? But what I've found, actually, is that there are a lot of people who are inquisitive, a lot of people who are very open to new music, and are just great at chatting as well. Like I've been received really well, and I've loved both experiences that I've had in the last week. It's been really great. I think perhaps it helps that I think because there's so much music in London, people expect to hear something that they've never heard before, and I think that's a really good thing for people to be open to that, because I think that's the hardest part of being a new artist or being an emerging artist, is trying to convince people, yes, you may not have heard of me before, but I'm still worth listening to. So it's been great for London.
How important then, given that you need to get your records out there, your songs out there, people need to hear you before they'll come and view you, watch you and support you. Now, Spotify is a wonderful piece of equipment, and I know that the royalties aren't particularly very good,
but they've got better.
Yeah, they have got better, and it looks as though things are getting better on Spotify as well. I couldn't be without it, because I find so many wonderful artists through that, and also Twitter, not as much these days, but I find Facebook very, very useful as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your Twitter and Facebook sites?
So Twitter is Hannah Lizzie, that's Lizzy.
Yep.
And then my Facebook is just Hannah Brown UK. That's pretty simple. Because
there are a few Hannah Browns, aren't there? And is that why it's Hannah Lizzie?
I think it was my personal one, and then I just thought to myself, I can't. There's so many social media sites. I thought I'll keep it simple, and I'll have that as my kind of music one as well. So that's
music that's played on radio. Brum Radio do a great job, as do Switch, wonderful city. We try our best at SRB, and it is very, very difficult. BRMB and Old Money used to play great records, and so did Extra AM when they switched the AM, FM frequencies. But these days, the beast that is commercial radio doesn't seem to play much or any emerging artists. The BBC are very good, the introducing show, and also Sonny and Shay, they're very good. And the guys at WC Wolverhampton also are tremendous. So there's a lot of support. Is it enough, or do you need more?
That's a good question. I think the support that is there is fantastic, and you can tell how enthusiastic people are in Birmingham about Birmingham artists, which is fantastic. I think there needs to be an improvement on the links between Birmingham and other cities, and for more opportunity to be able to come for people in Birmingham, and I think that is probably where efforts should be kind of honed in.
Because again, I listen to so much music, lots and lots of new emerging artists, and I feel that in 2018 and going into 2019, music is as strong, as prevalent, as good as at any time in my life. I'm discovering new stuff daily, and it annoys me when I hear people saying, there's nothing coming through, I don't hear it. No, you have to go to the right places, and it's like what you're doing there in London, whether it be a house, whether it be a venue, people are discovering you, you're networking. So you're networking where you're pressing flesh, you're networking while you're on the internet and using that ocean of waves, which is the radio. So it is a great time for artists, but again, I just think that if the shackles were taken off a little bit, emerging artists would benefit hugely from it.
Definitely, I agree.
One thing that you did benefit from is the hybrid sessions that you did in 2015. A collection of acoustic songs, finishing with I Quake, which I really like that song, by the way.
I'm very glad you did.
How did you get involved in that situation?
So I'm managed by a gentleman called Jeff Pierce, who has fantastic links with people in the industry. And he's been really good friends with John Mostyn, who at the time was, I think, managing the Highbury studio, which is fantastic. So, they kindly let me come in, and I worked with the engineer Rob Peters, who is probably going to be here tonight actually, but he's been a great friend and a great supporter since. I'll always be really thankful for that opportunity, because that studio was just fantastic.
Now, from that studio, a year later, you went to another studio and you brought out your EP. Where was that engineered and produced? Because that's like it was. I thought, again, acoustically is great, but then you've got the band sound, haven't you, with the EP? And it was a new group of 6 songs. So, where did those come from?
So that was just in. I worked with a producer called Ben Stancombe, and it was just at his flat. And I think it really goes to show just what you can do, in such a small space. Just in his flat.
And that's the good thing about today. You can produce quality at a real budget price.
Yeah.
Now, it was better for this, wasn't it? That was the EP.
Yes.
And you ended with Empty.
Yes. Which
I have to say, to what I've heard from you so far, is my favourite song.
Oh, fantastic.
If I was going to do an LP, of Hannah Brown, I would start with that, because I think it's a right funky number, and it really brings you in, it sucks you in. And then my second track would be So Should You, which is your current single, because I think that's a fantastic song.
Why the disguise? You're working so damn hard to hide who you really are. I see it in the way you lie. You don't respect me at all. So why should I yourself, you can find it from anybody else. Go back to the start, see where we went wrong. So should you
So let's talk about your babies that you've given birth to, which are your songs, because that's, you know, you never ask an artist what's your favourite, because you don't ask a dad or a mum what's your favourite kid. It's that intense, isn't it? And it's that personal to you, especially when you're writing from the heart, which you clearly do. And is there a certain time of day that you write? Do you find that of a night, I mean, my ultimate hero is Paul Weller, and his pen goes into overdrive in the midnight hour. You know, and artists do have certain times or a little bit of influence of something, whether it be songs or alcoholic beverages, that, you know, because you need something to stimulate those thought processes, don't you?
Yeah, it's certainly changed over time. Yeah. I definitely had a lot more time when I was at university. Not that my tutors would like to think so, but I definitely did. Yeah, I used to be very much a night owl, so it would always be the evening. Something about the darkness of, you know, that really is very inspiring. But these days I'm not so lucky. So it tends to be the afternoon, but it's always later on in the day when you've had chance to process and you've given yourself enough time from waking up. So yeah.
And those group of songs, they're still about. Will you be playing any of those tonight, or have you got new material that you're taking on tour with you?
So I'll be playing a mixture tonight. I'll be performing the majority of the songs from Better For This, with a couple of acoustic tracks that I haven't recorded, or at least haven't released, that most people usually can hear me play live. And then, yes, a couple of new songs tonight with the band.
I Don't Want to Be You. Brilliant video. Who made it?
It was just me. I just took a camera around with me for a few months.
Again, it's great, isn't it, that you can just do that and have such a high quality of production. And I have noticed that there's a remake over on YouTube, which is a bit funkied up. Did you have anything to do with that?
So that was actually a guy from Brazil that messaged me one day, which was really out of the blue and unexpected. And he just really liked the track. I sent him over the vocals, stems, and I didn't know what he was really going to do. And then that came out, and actually it's done really well on YouTube. So I think, you know, I've been quite fortunate, because I think it's kind of you know, directed people my way. So yeah, it's really good.
And two songs that are more, I guess, in tune with an acoustic evening would be Stay and Free. I think they're great songs.
Yes, and you'll hear Free with just me and my acoustic. It feels more right to, I think, make that song quite stripped down and quite quite intense, I suppose. And then you'll hear Stay, but with the band.
Because again, that's what you can do. Strip your songs back, change them a little bit, and it gives it another direction, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
So, albums, new EPs, new single launches, what is next for Hannah Brown? And also videos you're going to make anymore?
Yes, so I really do need to up my game on YouTube, I think. So yeah, the plan is to release a few more singles, and then eventually, hopefully maybe April next year, bring out another EP with, you know, all the social media marketing stuff to go with it. So
And a website, have you got a website as well?
Yes, so it's www.hannah. It's the middle line. I always forget
It's
the
hyphen, isn't it?
hyphen.
Yeah.
There we go. I should remember that.
Yeah.
Hannah-brown.co.uk.
Hannah, and also, just before we go, on daily rotation on my playlist show,
Thank you so much.
which, you know, I try and do my best for emerging artists. On my Facebook now, what I'm doing is to show a little bit more support, because you just always want to do more, especially when you like people as well. So I'm going to have my profile picture every week, a different artist. So next week I'll put your picture. So that'll be fun.
That's very kind of you.
Can I thank you so much for your time and all the very, very best going forward. And I'm hoping that this works, but I won't be too disappointed if it don't, because we'll have to meet again.
Absolutely.
For now, thanks mate, it's been an absolute ball.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for listening. Good night.
Great. I can feel it here.
You mean you really like it?
Like it? What does the phrase #1 record mean to you?
You've given me no choice. You made me see that all the words you spill don't come from me.
This has been a BB Media production for SRB Radio. Your interviewer was Paul Collins, produced by Chris Brown.